Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's like you're asking yourself questions on how to get better, but the answer to your questions and your problems are right in front of you. All you got to do is just open your eyes up a little bit. I mean, that is something that like I shouldn't even have to break down or mention. But that's something that's exactly what you've been doing this entire VOD, but now in that situation you got punished for it. That it's just, oh man. There's no way for me to break that down because it doesn't need to be broken down. Pretty much. What is going on, guys? 821 Mayo here, and in today's video we're going to be having ourselves another viewer VOD review video. Now, I went over the viewer's VOD form, and he says in the VOD form itself that he wants to learn how to play more aggressive and learn when and when not to peek. So I'm sure those are some things that we can go over from this VOD itself. But with all of that being said, let's jump into the VOD itself. Okay, so you're bringing the Maverick on Clubhouse, which is a really good start. I see a lot of people usually never really bring him. You know, Maverick is a very strong attacker as well as hard breacher, and he can make your attacking job as the attackers a lot easier if you bring him and, you know, understand how to use him to your advantage. So you bringing him is a really good start. Now, what I would like to see you do is approach the wall properly with Maverick. The first kind of big mistake that I see you doing here is reloading the canister, like you did there. And I think you do it a little bit later on. But either way, you know, you want to make sure that you use as much of the blowtorch canister as you can, because by that point, if you reload when there's half of a canister left or a quarter, you're not being that efficient or as efficient as you could be with it. Another thing that you're doing here, which some people like to do, I personally don't, just because I think it makes your positioning too predictable, and that is you are going on rappel here. You know, the defenders will kind of be able to predict your positioning, especially if you're mavericking the bottom like this, because if the defender, you know, walks up to the breach, they can very easily see you if you were mavericking the bottom and you were on the platform itself of the breach. So they know that you're on rappel, which could lead you to either getting shot once you make the wall soft, or getting nitro celled from them throwing it on the soft wall once you do make it soft and when you get rid of the reinforcement. But either way, those are the two kind of big mistakes that I'm seeing here. So make sure when you are playing Maverick that you follow the right steps, you understand what you're trying to do, what angles you're trying to open, and all of that good stuff. Before we carry on with the video, I quickly want to mention that 50% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you guys have not hit that sub button already, I would really appreciate it. It also helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I also want to mention that I can coach you. So if you guys want a private coaching session or a private VOD review session, there's a link to my Patreon down below in the description. And yes, I do coach console players. And lastly, I also want to mention that I have a second channel. What you can find here is exclusive content like private coaching sessions. You can also find tier lists and any other content that is from my Twitch live stream. A link to that is also in the description. Okay, so what you did here with the breach is, you know, you did your job as Maverick. That's fine. But what I want to talk about is how you open the breach itself. So if an Ash or, you know, the Sledge or the Zofia comes over here, opens the wall, you are now forced to vault through instead of being able to walk through if you made the entire wall soft and then had the Ash or the Sledge or the Zo open after. So you are 100% forced to vault through the breach now, because you have to vault over this little lip here at the bottom of the reinforcement. And the reason this is going to potentially hurt you guys later on during the round is whenever you are vaulting through something, you can only look in 180-degree direction. So, you know, when you are walking through something, you know, you can look in 360 degrees wherever it might be that you are being shot from or wherever you need to react to. But when you vault through something, you can only look to your far left and far right, and then anywhere in between that spot there. So you are limiting yourself potentially of either getting you killed or, you know, not being able to defend yourself. So just very small things, but things that could add up overall when the round progresses that could lead to you getting killed, or, you know, just something bad happening that could have been prevented. Okay, so I understand why you peek this, but what could have been better in a situation like this is you understanding where your teammates are positioned. So if you look at the, you know, you have the Habana and the Zofia here on the platform with you. So usually what you'll see with a CCTV attack, if you're not going to do a split take of the CC wall and master side, you're most likely going to see your attacking team try to attack garage after you get CC wall open, which is probably something that you should do since both of your teammates here are still on the platform. You can then take that initiative, go to the garage door, pressure, you know, possibly nade that guy. It is a Wamai, but you do have the Zofia and the Hibana here. So you could potentially ask for some sort of burn utility and then nade that guy out, or pressure him as well as the people on the breach. Ooh. Yeah. So this is another thing that that you're doing a little wrong here with Maverick. So you're making your positioning too predictable, and you're also making your, you know, just you very easy to shoot. You're a very, very easy target. I mean, even when you made this first line here, you were prone right in front of it. Anyone playing back dirt could have very easily pretty much shot you in the head. This is another thing that you don't really want to do when playing Maverick, is going prone, because not only does it take you longer to get up and, you know, leave that situation and area, but also oftentimes you're going to be making a hole towards your feet more or less, so it exposes more of your body, which will lead to it doing more damage per bullet. If someone shoots you in your torso, it is obviously going to do more damage versus someone shooting you in your foot. So two very also important things to pick up on here when you are playing Maverick. And also, I'm not sure if this is quite necessarily the best way, but I have had a lot of success doing this just from experience. You know, having someone come over to dirt with you, making a line somewhere near the very top of the wall, so that way they can then hold an angle on dirt, walk up, then you, as the Maverick player, can open up a hole allowing you to walk into dirt itself. So that way you're not sitting here alone, you know, making a very counterable hole from a defender's side. You can have someone helping you and also hold your walk up, so that way nobody can just walk up to your Maverick holes or hold a line of sight that you don't know about and then just kill you.
Oh, hit diffuser.
Yeah, you were putting yourself in a very interesting situation there. So what you're doing there is you're actively looking for kills when you don't need to. Your teammates haven't even established very basic and minimal, you know, map control. So if you get 2 or 3 kills from that area and your teammates aren't really there to cut off other rotations or react with you on potentially taking the bomb site, then it's just going to hurt more than it's going to help. You know, you have to think about it, not only what you're trying to do, but also what is the team trying to do and how far along is the team with their progression of whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. So it's not only just about what you're trying to attack, it's also about what the team is trying to attack. And also you had multiple opportunities there to leave, and even you walking all the way up into dirt and face checking is another kind of issue that I saw during this round. You face checked all the way up into dirt, and you know, you tripped a goo along the way there when you had a drone that you could have very easily used that was there from the prep phase. So you had a drone there, you decided not to use it. You didn't really leave when you had the opportunity to, and you were also very heavily looking for the kills and kind of ego peeking or face checking or just wanting to take gunfights.
Nice job.
Nice.
So another thing that you're making a lot of very common mistakes, which is a bad thing and a good thing. The reason it's a bad thing because they're very common mistakes, and the reason it's a good thing because you pretty much only need to make one of these mistakes and then fix it. Hopefully you won't make this mistake, you know, further down the road. So they're very simple and very easy mistakes to fix. So everything that I've already gone over previously in the VOD review so far. And also another thing that I'm picking up on is the fact that you're not getting on drones. This is a very common basic Siege 101 type thing where if you're dead, you get on drones, you feed intel, you give your team things to react off of, so that way they're not having to just go off of gut feeling or, you know, whatever it might be. Intel is always going to be better than impulse. And you didn't get on a single drone this entire round. I mean, there was even a drone right in front of the Jackal there looking into the hallway, and you potentially could have fed a very crucial piece of information to the Jackal or the Sledge or whatever it might be. It could have been a completely different round if you did or did not feed that piece of intel. Siege is very situational. A situation can go a lot of different ways. So it's always important to try to put you and your team in the best position in those situations, so that way you can come out on top as much as you can. Oh no, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. If you live doing this, I'm gonna be so... Wow. They had a drone hole there to kill you and they didn't use it. Okay, so this...
Blue, I believe?
I understand the approach with putting a shield on dirt like this. There's two things here though. One, you don't have a Wamai or a Jaeger to support you. And two, the shield is far too pushed up to the point where it will still have an effect, but it won't be as effective as it could be. Because with the shield being here, the attackers have the ability to open the dirt wall and then just nade or Zofia or Ash charge the shield from outside. Meanwhile, them being forced to push up further into dirt and then being confronted with the shield, they will then be in your territory where it makes it a little bit more favorable for you. And also with the shield being this far up, your ability to fall back and your safety net that you're going to have when the shield is gone, it's going to be much more rough for you to leave because you have a further distance to cross in order to get to a safer position. So just a couple things when it comes to the shield placement in dirt. Alright, so we're a minute and 30 seconds into the round, or sorry, a minute and 30 seconds left in the round. It's a 2v3 situation. I keep seeing this a lot with your gameplay and just overall. You are looking for picks or kills or gunfights way too much. Like, you just need to have the ability to just sit in the bomb site. I know it might be a crazy idea, but all you got to do is just sit in the bomb site. That's all you got to do. You just got to chill, listen to calls, position yourself, put more thought into positioning yourself instead of putting that thought into, oh, where's the closest enemy so I can go fight them. That's pretty much what you're doing, and that's what I'm seeing. Never do this. Never ever do this. This is literally the most inefficient way to make footholds. And the reason for that is because instead of you trying to hit... So what you're trying to do there is you're trying to hit something like this with a spread like this. So all of those pellets are going to be missing because it's not hitting the wall here. But if you're looking at it horizontally, I guess, if that makes sense, or parallel to the wall rather, now, since you're looking at the wall parallel, it's going to be like this, and your spread's going to be here. So all of your pellets are going to hit in this position. So you doing this on the left is literally the most inefficient way to make footholds or, you know, just to rotate in general. Okay, so you've started to put down your mute jammers, which is good, but something that I bring up quite a bit on this channel and with utility dense operators like mute or like a Jaeger, you know, operators that have quite a bit of utility to put down in the prep phase and also are expected to do quite a bit, you kind of need to plan out your route and what you're trying to accomplish, and especially with mute, because you're going to be expected to put down 4 mute jammers and possibly make at least 1 or 2 rotates and, you know, whatever it might be, and maybe reinforce a couple walls. So you have quite a bit to do with mute, so you need to think about the route that you're going to take so that way you know, okay, I go here, I do this, I go there, I do that. It's pretty simple, but it can help out a lot with your efficiency of the prep phase, maybe lead you to shooting, you know, a couple more drones in the prep phase and all that good stuff. So just make sure that you're more efficient with your utility placement and your overall prep phase as a defender.
It wasn't construction, so no.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's like you're asking yourself questions on how to get better, but the answer to your questions and your problems are right in front of you. All you got to do is just open your eyes up a little bit. I mean, that is something that, like, I shouldn't even have to break down or mention. But that's something... That's exactly what you've been doing this entire VOD. But now, in that situation, you got punished for it. It's just... Oh, man. There's no way for me to break that down because it doesn't need to be broken down. Pretty much. Okay, so to wrap this VOD up, the biggest thing, I just went over it, and this is something that you were asking in the VOD form, is when to peek and when not to peek. I feel like we went over that quite a bit. Another thing when it comes to learning when to play passive or aggressive, or when to peek and when not to peek, are the 3 main things that I think of. I might be wrong in someone else's eyes, but the 3 main things that I think of when it comes to understanding when and when not to play aggressive or passive is man advantage, map control, and time. Those are the 3 main things, at least from my experience playing the game and watching. I can sit here for hours and break down each situation, but that won't get you as far as me just telling you those 3 basic things and you applying it to your gameplay. Another thing that I was seeing a lot throughout your gameplay is you weren't doing like basic stuff of reinforcing, putting down utility, just the basic stuff of the game. You can't expect to learn and get better at the advanced stuff if you don't create the foundation of the basics, because you're just gonna have to go back and relearn all that stuff that you should have learned when you first started playing the game, or, you know, started getting better at the game. And another thing that goes with the basics of the game is also you not getting on default cams. That's another Siege 101 thing that everyone should know and should be ingrained into their head. You know, the first month of them playing is to get on cams, feed info, give callouts. You have a mic, you have the ability to give callouts. I heard you give a few here and there, but you should definitely be more vocal on the callouts in the entire info side of the game. But other than that, I hope I helped you out. I hope you improve at the game. And anyone else who is watching, I also hope I helped you guys out. If I did, I would greatly appreciate a like and subscription to the video and the channel. It would help me out a lot. It also helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And I also want to mention one more time before I go that there is a link to my Patreon down below where you can find all of the info you need and more for coaching. And yes, I do coach console players. And there's also links to all of my social media down below, as well as links to the Wichita Wolves, which I'm a content creator for. So make sure you guys go show them some love. But with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And I will see you guys in the next video. Are we rushing this bitch? That was, I mistimed that so poorly. You died too?
Oh my god, I died too.